All right, y'all. Here we are. We are back. We're gonna move on a little bit. This should be kind of your second period, this or during seventh period, I guess. But this is going to be us pushing forward. You should have just wrapped up a little bit of finding slope, which you're gonna need later. Again, just a little bit of review. Um, but yeah, we're gonna press on. Gonna introduce this to you today, and we'll keep on it with it. Keep on with it tomorrow, just so we can circle back and figure out what we do and do not do. Okay. Right away, cross this stuff out. Too much for when I'm not here. But we're moving on to the next form of linear equations. So you guys already saw slope-intercept form. We are now talking about point-slope form. Okay. It's called that because you need two things. You need a point, and then you need the slope. Okay. Again, this is another formula for the equation of a line. Okay. Um, and it is easy to write when you know the slope and you know any point on the line, not just the intercept. Okay. Labeling this is our basic form of it. Okay, M is still our slope, but now it is in the middle. So that's nice. Slope M in the middle. Okay. X1 is going to be the X value from a point, and Y1 is going to be the Y value from a point. Y value from a point. Okay. Please note that this formula starts with minuses. Okay, so whenever you are doing this, you always, always, always have to write a minus. Then if you're putting in a negative number, it might change to be a plus, and maybe we'll run into examples of that. But it will always, 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 oops, it will always, always, always start with minuses. Okay, so just these first few are some times to try it out. Okay, so let's start with what will always stay the same, which is the first y and then a minus. The equal sign will always stay the same. The first parentheses will stay the same, x and the minus, and then your closed parentheses. And you got to fill in the rest of this. Okay. So first up is going to be our y value. In this case, that is 3. And that is going in. Now, again, it looks like positive 3 in the points, but when we put it in, it looks like negative. You are always starting by writing minus. Okay. In the middle is going to be our slope, which is 1 over 4. And last but not least is going to be 8. Okay. I'll do one more and then I'll kind of hold for a second and let you do number 3 and number 4. Okay, so again, we're always going to start with a y and a minus. The equals is always going to stay the same. Parentheses and x minus and close our parentheses. And then we fill in the blanks. Okay, y is going to start with the 12. Okay, that's my y value. My slope is the negative 2. That's always going to go in the middle. And last but not least is the negative 6. Negative 6. Please note that when I put a negative number in, there are the two negatives. At this point, we should change it, right, to be a plus, but it is always going to start as two negatives. You need to understand that. You cannot miss that. You will get a question wrong. Okay. So again, we can change this to be a plus at this point. Okay. You can pause this, take a second, or jump ahead like 5, 10 seconds. Try out number 3 and number 4. Okay, you can look at number 5 and try to think about it, but it's nothing too crazy. Okay, I'll hold on for a second. And let's do this. Okay. So again, we're going to start with a y equals parentheses x minus and minus. Close my parentheses. Okay. My y value here is negative 1. I'm going to plug that in. My slope is 5 over 2, and my x value is negative 2. Then I can change them. So I'm going to change the top, or excuse me, I'm going to change the front to be a plus, and I'm going to change the back to be a plus. But again, they are always starting with negatives. Okay, and on this last one, y minus equals parentheses x minus my y value is 0, my m is 9. Why did the color change there? And my x is 1. Okay. You might be thinking that I don't need to write the 0 out front. Technically are correct, but it is easier to see that your point is 1, 0 if you leave it in. So I'm going to leave it in, and that would be our final answer. These next two are kind of working backwards. Okay. Um, you're just writing in, you're filling in what the slope and the points are. And again, you're going to have to be a little careful with these negatives and whatnot. Okay, so I'll do the first one. Actually, maybe I'll do the middle one. Yeah, we do the middle one. Okay. My slope is always that middle number. It's 9/4. Then when it comes to our point, our x value is in the back. And we have to remember that we always, always, always start by writing a minus. Okay. The only reason it would change to be positive is if we put in -3, just like these examples up here. Okay. That means that this is a +3 for my x value, and it means that I put in a -8 to make that symbol up front change from a minus to a plus. Okay, take 30 seconds, take a minute, try out number 6 and number 8, see what you can get to, yada, yada, yada. Okay, okay. So this first one, again, our slope should be pretty easy. It's that number in the middle, it's that -7. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, looking at my points, I see two negatives, which means that the numbers that I put in were actually positive. I see two minuses, which is how they start, which means I didn't do anything to change them. We're rolling with 3, 2. Okay. And number 8, again, my slope, -2/3, my middle number, bada bing, bada boom. I notice that I have two pluses here, which means that I put in -9 and -6. Okay, so my point would be -9, -6. Okay. Okay. A good little thinking exercise for you here. It's just a little debate about the points. I'm not going to go over that, but if you want to, you can. The main place we need to talk is right here. Okay. Go ahead and just while we're at it, just to speed things up. Okay. Cross out everywhere you see slope intercept form right now. That is not the focus right now. We're just talking about point slope form. Okay. So you're gonna have 4 problems left that you're gonna get done after we finish this. Okay. We're gonna do this top part together. Okay. You guys already today reviewed how to find the slope. It's this right here. This formula is how you find the slope. Okay. And Mrs. Bernice, don't know who that is, asked her students to find the equation of the line that passes through this point. Okay, so to do this, you are going to start by just finding the slope with those 2 points. And we've already done this. This is what you've been reviewing. Again, 22 minus 4, because those are my two y values, 22 and 4. And then keep the order the same. I'm going to go 4 minus -2. You punch that bad boy into a calculator and you end up with, I believe, 3. Okay. Then all you have to do is we're going to take our formula, this guy, and all you are going to do is you're going to plug in the things that you know. And this wants you to do it 2 different times, once with the point on the left, once with the point on the right. So let's do that, okay? So first thing I'm going to plug in is my slope, which I just found was 3. So again, my y is going to stay the same. Not going to change the y1 yet, but my slope is going to change to 3. And I'm going to keep the back half the same. And nothing is changing on my right side either, right? All the exact same stuff. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, continuing on. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to take your x and y values and plug them in. So I'm giving you 2 different sets. Here's one, and let's plug those in. Okay, my y value, my 4 is going to go first. That first y stays the same. I always start with a minus, but I'm going to change the y1 to be a 4. We are still equals and 3, but then x minus, again, keep the colors consistent, minus -2. Okay? Let me change that last parentheses back. My bad, my bad. There you go. Okay. Now let's do the same thing on the back side. Okay, so the first y stays the same. This turns into y minus 22 equals 3 stays the same, and then x minus 4. Okay, so now what you could do is you could clean this up a little bit. So keep y minus 4, keep the 3, keep the x, but change it to +2. And everything else actually on the back side is going to stay the same. And now what you guys might think is these look different, right? There's a big difference here. That 4 and the 22 are different, the 2 and the -4 are different. Okay, but actually what you would find is if you plug them into Desmos, okay, they would show up the same and you would get the same line. And I could explain that to you. We might talk about that more maybe tomorrow. But these are equal, okay? You can pick any point to plug into this formula, okay? It doesn't matter at all. Okay. What I would like you to do is you're going to try this, okay, on your own with these 4, okay, is you're going to try to write the formula. Okay? And again, the first thing you have to do is find the slope. Um, I'll find the slope with you for 11 and 13, and then you're going to go on and do all of 12 and 14. Okay, I'll end up posting the key to help you out. You can check your answers that way, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow, and we'll keep moving along. Okay. So for our slope, again, our y values go on top, and our x values go on the bottom. This would clean up to, let's see, let me use my super smart brain. Something like this, something like 1/2. Then you are going to take that and you're going to plug it into a formula like this. To finish this problem, all you have to do is figure out what goes in y1 and figure out what goes in x1. Okay. And then very similar on the back end, okay, down here, same idea. Okay. But you just have to pick 2 points. So let's say we're going to do this one and this one to avoid using the decimals. Okay. My y values are -7 and -8. So -7 minus -8. And then 4 minus 0. When you clean that up, that should give you 1/4. And then again, you are taking a formula like this, and you are trying to clean it up such that, okay, you are putting in something for y1 and something for x. Okay. When you go to look at the key, please note that your answer could be a little bit different. I'll try to fit all of the possible answers onto here. Can't guarantee I will because there's a lot to write. But yeah, do your best. You are capable and smart-ish, and we'll get it sorted out tomorrow. Okay?